The Liberal Party establishment just got obliterated by the most devastating political truth bomb in Australian history, and the shockwaves are still rattling through Parliament House. What you're about to hear will expose the dirty little secrets the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge, the brutal reality that has Sussan Ley questioning everything she thought she knew about her political future, and the absolutely savage confrontation that left one of Australia's most senior politicians emotionally shattered. This isn't just political theatre, this is the moment when Pauline Hanson stripped away every pretense, every polite political courtesy, and delivered a reality check so brutal, so unflinchingly honest, that it's left the Liberal Party hierarchy in complete meltdown mode. While you've been distracted by manufactured scandals and media spin, the real story of Australian conservatism's civil war has been playing out behind closed doors, and what happened at this private dinner will change everything you think you know about the future of the Liberal Party. Hold on to your seats, because what Senator Pauline Hanson revealed about her face-to-face encounter with Sussan Ley isn't just gossip, it's a political earthquake that exposes the fundamental crisis destroying the Liberal Party from within. The woman who's been dismissed as a political outsider just delivered the most accurate diagnosis of conservative politics in Australia, and the establishment reaction proves she hit the bullseye with surgical precision. Here's what actually went down when two of Australia's most prominent female politicians sat across from each other at what was supposed to be a cordial private dinner. Instead of the usual political pleasantries and diplomatic doublespeak, Hanson looked Ley straight in the eye and delivered a message so devastating, so brutally honest, that it reportedly left the deputy Liberal leader visibly shaken and questioning her entire political trajectory. "I won't be attending." Those 4 words from Pauline Hanson weren't just about declining a dinner invitation. They were a political death sentence, a complete rejection of everything Sussan Ley represents in modern Liberal Party politics, and a prediction about Ley's future that's already proving terrifyingly accurate. When Hanson tells someone she won't be attending their political funeral, you better believe that funeral is already being planned. The private dinner, the details of which the Liberal establishment desperately wants to keep secret, has become the stuff of Canberra legend. Sources close to both camps describe an atmosphere so tense you could cut it with a knife, as Hanson methodically dismantled every assumption Ley had about her place in conservative politics. This wasn't just political disagreement, this was a masterclass in political reality delivered by someone who understands Australian voters better than any focus group or polling company. What makes Hanson's assessment so devastating isn't just its bluntness, it's its accuracy. When she told Andrew Bolt that she considers Ley nice but not conservative, she wasn't being diplomatic. She was delivering a political obituary for the kind of wishy-washy, principle-free politics that has turned the Liberal Party into a hollow shell of its former self. Hanson didn't just criticize Ley's positions, she exposed the fundamental fraud at the heart of modern Liberal Party leadership. The timing of this revelation is absolutely explosive because it comes at a moment when the Liberal Party is hemorrhaging support to genuine conservative alternatives. While Ley and her moderate faction have been pushing the party further left, trying to compete with Labour and the Greens on their own turf, Hanson's been building a coalition of voters who actually believe in conservative principles. The dinner conversation wasn't just a private disagreement, it was a preview of the political realignment that's about to devastate the Liberal establishment. Hanson's characterization of Ley as too far left-leaning isn't just an opinion, it's a surgical analysis of how the Liberal Party has abandoned its conservative base in pursuit of inner-city votes that were never going to support them anyway. While Ley's been focused on appealing to progressive sensibilities and media approval, Hanson's been connecting with the millions of Australians who feel politically homeless because their supposed representatives have sold out their values for temporary political convenience. The private dinner confrontation reveals something profound about Australian conservative politics that the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge. Pauline Hanson has become the most authentic conservative voice in the country, while the Liberal Party leadership has become a collection of career politicians more interested in media approval than principle. When Hanson looks at Sussan Ley, she doesn't see a fellow conservative, she sees everything that's wrong with modern Australian politics. What's particularly devastating about Hanson's assessment is how it exposes the Liberal Party's strategic stupidity. Instead of embracing their conservative base and offering a genuine alternative to Labour Green policies, they've spent years trying to out-progressive the progressives while hemorrhaging support to parties that actually stand for something. Ley represents the epitome of this failed strategy, a politician so focused on being acceptable to the left that she's forgotten what it means to be conservative. The emotional impact of this confrontation on Sussan Ley cannot be overstated. Sources suggest that Hanson's brutal honesty left Ley genuinely shaken, not because the criticism was unfair, but because it was undeniably accurate. When someone you've dismissed as a political outsider delivers a more coherent analysis of your party's problems than your own strategists, it forces a moment of reckoning that can be psychologically devastating. Hanson's prediction about Ley's future in the Liberal Party isn't based on wishful thinking, it's based on a clear-eyed assessment of where Conservative politics is heading in Australia. The moderate faction that Ley represents isn't just losing elections, they are losing relevance. Their attempts to position themselves as a softer version of Labour have left them with no distinct identity and no compelling reason for voters to choose them over the original. The private dinner revelation also exposes the profound disconnect between Liberal Party leadership and their supposed voter base. While Ley and her allies focus on issues that play well in Toorak and Double Bay, Hanson's connecting with working-class Australians who feel betrayed by a party that once represented their values but now treats them as an embarrassment. This isn't just about policy disagreements, it's about fundamental questions of political authenticity and representation. What makes Hanson's criticism so powerful is that it comes from someone who's actually lived the consequences of standing up for unfashionable principles. While liberal moderates have spent their careers calculating the safest political positions, Hanson's been willing to take positions that attract media hatred but resonate with ordinary voters. Her assessment of Ley isn't theoretical, it's based on decades of experience watching politicians choose career advancement over principle. The Andrew Bolt interview where these revelations emerged wasn't just entertainment, it was a public autopsy of Liberal Party conservatism conducted by someone who understands the patient better than the doctors trying to save it. When Hanson describes Ley as nice but not conservative, she's not being cruel, she's being clinically accurate about the fundamental mismatch between Ley's political positioning and the principles that built the Liberal Party. Behind the polite political language, Hanson's message to Ley was devastatingly clear: you don't belong in conservative politics because you don't actually believe in conservative principles. This isn't about personal animosity, it's about political authenticity. Hanson has spent her career being attacked for positions that millions of Australians actually support, while Ley has spent hers trying to be everything to everyone and satisfying no one. The breakdown that allegedly occurred after Hanson's reality check reveals the psychological pressure facing Liberal moderates who've built their careers on avoiding difficult truths about their party's direction. When confronted with someone who actually believes what she says and has the electoral success to prove it works, politicians like Ley face an uncomfortable reckoning with their own political compromises and calculations. What's particularly brilliant about Hanson's approach is how she's forced this conversation into the open at exactly the right moment. With the Liberal Party facing existential questions about its future direction, having a truth-teller like Hanson articulate what many Conservatives have been thinking privately creates pressure for genuine change rather than cosmetic adjustments. This dinner confrontation wasn't just personal, it was strategic. The fact that details of this private dinner have emerged suggests that someone wants this story told, and the implications for Liberal Party unity are enormous. When your political opponents are publicly diagnosing your internal contradictions with surgical precision, it creates pressure that can't be managed through normal political spin. Hanson hasn't just criticized Ley, she's exposed the fundamental unsustainability of the Liberal Party's current trajectory. Ley's emotional response to Hanson's assessment suggests a level of self-awareness that makes the criticism even more devastating. It's one thing to dismiss attacks from political opponents you don't respect, it's quite another to hear uncomfortable truths from someone whose political instincts have been proven right repeatedly while your own strategies have led to electoral disaster after electoral disaster. The broader implications of this confrontation extend far beyond the personal relationship between two politicians. Hanson's brutal assessment of Ley represents a wider judgment on the failure of Australian Conservative politics to offer a genuine alternative to progressive policies. When the most successful Conservative politician in the country tells you that you're not actually Conservative, it's not just personal criticism, it's a professional diagnosis with profound implications for your political future. What makes this story so compelling is how it crystallizes the fundamental choice facing Australian Conservatives: continue with the failed strategy of trying to appeal to progressive voters who will never support them anyway, or return to authentic Conservative principles that might actually inspire their natural voter base. Hanson's confrontation with Ley represents this choice in its starkest form. The emotional aftermath of this dinner continues to reverberate through Liberal Party circles because it forced a conversation that the moderate faction has been desperately trying to avoid. When Pauline Hanson looks at Sussan Ley and sees a political dead end rather than a fellow Conservative, it's not just an insult, it's a prophecy that's already coming true in polling data and electoral results across the country. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Australian News CC family where the real stories come to life. See you in the next one.